So here we are, about to head out for another ride. Before I got going today, I was thinking about the weather and mapping my route in my head, even though I've gone this way 1,000 times before, making sure I'm not forgetting anything. I grew up north near the Canadian border, not in Winooski where I'm starting out today, but every spot in Vermont's got its own feel. Winooski is one of those places that's always got something going on. I'm starting at this little car wash, which is honestly one of my favorite jump-off points. We'll be taking Route 2 north for a bit. If you know this stretch, you know it's been torn up for what feels like forever. They pave it, dig it up, then pave it again. I gotta say, I don't know if they're making progress or just giving us all a bumpy ride for fun. But hey, that's part of the adventure, right? I love riding my motorcycle. Always have, and I'm really glad you're here with me for this one. In a couple minutes, we'll leave town and cut over into Colchester, then swing a right onto Severance Road and cruise through Essex for a while. But for now, let's just soak up the ride, bumpy roads and all. So this morning, I saw a post from my friend Nicole on LinkedIn, and man, it took me right back to my early days. Late 80s, me and my Tandy 128K, sitting there dreaming about getting a tape recorder so I could actually save my basic programs. I remember spending all my money on this massive programming book. Thing was a monster, at least 4 inches thick. I became a pro at flipping through the index and glossary, sticking little scraps of paper all over it just to mark my place. The book was like $30 and I was 12, so you can bet I had to save up forever. Pretty sure my mom pitched in too. She always did stuff like that. And that's kind of where it all started for me. Programming just made sense, like math or geometry. My brain just clicked with it. Then my uncle, he was an amazing person, a true hippie that turned into CPA, decides I gotta learn Fox Pro Plus. I miss him dearly, but at the time I was like, no way, I'm good with what I know. But he kept pushing and I finally gave in. He handed me these old beat-up manuals, and after reading a few hundred pages, I'd head over to his place and mess around on his fancy IBM. Long story short, he was right. Sometimes you gotta let someone challenge your way of thinking. It's those arguments and debates that end up showing you a better path, even if you don't want to admit it at first. Nicole's post got me wondering, what kind of blinders have I put up lately?
We all ain't karma trees.
Am I missing something just because I'm used to doing it one way? Winooski's a funny little city. Did you know it's named after the Abenaki word for onion? And with all the construction on Route 2, word is they're planning a new roundabout by Costco someday. We'll see if that ever happens. In Vermont, road work coming soon can mean anything from next week to the next decade. Now, we've crossed over into Colchester. Actually been here since we ducked under the bridge. We're coming up on Severance Corners, and every time I hit this intersection, I start thinking about the choices that brought me here. For me, the biggest shift was moving back to Vermont when COVID hit. Not because I was broke, but just needed to be close to family and start fresh. I started from scratch, built a whole new portfolio. Honestly, it was just me, my laptop, and a ton of extra time with the world on pause. But this is before AI was everywhere, so every new course idea came from digging deep and trying to outdo myself. I tried every freelancing site I could find. Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer, you name it, I was on it. But after about a year and a half, I realized I needed to focus. So I stuck with Fiverr. And I gotta say, I've met some seriously cool people on there. Hundreds of clients, all with their own ideas and stories. Now, don't get me wrong, freelancing ain't some magic ticket to working less or making easy money. I probably work harder now than I ever did as a direct hire. Every order, it's like holding your whole business in your hand. Just one bad review can set you back for months. Sometimes you never really bounce back. So you gotta treat every single order like it's the most important one you've ever done. And if you wanna hit 6 figures, you better have 2 or 3 projects going at once. Always talking to new folks, always hustling. Sometimes I'm checking messages before my first cup of coffee. And that's kind of what I love about Colchester too. It's the 4th biggest town in Vermont, but it still feels small town to the core. It hugs the edge of Lake Champlain, and it's been around since 1763, full of old stories and new growth all at the same time. Heck, they say smugglers used to sneak through here back in the day, slipping between Canada and Vermont. Maybe even down the same roads we're cruising on right now. Colchester keeps moving, keeps adapted, but never really loses touch with its roots. And that's kind of how I see this whole freelancing journey. Always changing, always learning, but still the same core me underneath it all. Anyway, I want to know, what about you? Have you made any big changes lately? Ever jump into something new, not knowing if it'd work out? Let me know down in the comments or just shoot me a message. Would love to hear your story, and who knows, maybe it'll be the inspiration for my next ride.